Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Federica. I am part of the DocCity team, and it's my pleasure to welcoming you all to these Digital Open Days by POLI.design. We're just about to start with our presentation of the Specializing Masters in Premium Design Management, and it's my pleasure to introduce our speakers for today. We have Arturo Dell'Acqua Bellavitis, he's a technical director of the program, and we have Lorenzo Morganti, who is the didactic coordinator. We also have the support of Elisa Piccini from the POLI.design team, who will be here to answer all of your questions about the academic requirement. So we're just about to start with the presentation. We kindly remind you that you can write all of your questions into the Q&A section that you find in your Zoom window, and we have a dedicated time after the presentation to answer them all. So we're ready to start. For whoever just joined, we started with the presentation of Premium Design Management, and I now leave the floor to the Professor Arturo Dell'Acqua Bellavitis.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. As you see, the first image we are showing you, it's a garment which has been designed by Giorgio Armani, because in our master, we put together design and management. And besides the nice elements of Italian luxury brands, you must, in our master, understand what is behind it, that is research, but also economics, As you know, one would say, oh, Armani is pretty famous because of the garments, because of his revolution, but which is the real business of the Armani group is cosmetics, If you look at the revenues, we see that 50% of the revenues of the Armani group is cosmetics, then accessories only 12, and the rest, it's all the rest that Armani is designing, that is to say, fashion, furniture, and also hotel design. Because as you know, luxury brands are enlarging the number of areas in which they are entering, I'm also speaking about cosmetics, because in our design premium master, we will have a focus on this kind of area, because maybe you are not aware that Italy, and especially Lombardy, is a very important district producing cosmetics. But you are not aware, like most of Italians aren't, because it's a B2B, that is to say, there are companies producing for other very famous companies that all of you know, that are, for example, L'Oreal, Max Factor, Elizabeth Arden, or Beiersdorf, all the big companies that are in a way connected to this kind of elements. Maybe you are not aware that most of the color, that is to say, lipsticks and the makeup, is produced in Lombardy. Just one of them, maybe in Italy is pretty well known, that is Herbolario, decided not to be only a B2B company, but also becoming a B2C. And so in our master, we will visit some locations, some companies, and also special locations, like Armani has got a kind of museum in Milan where is showing his production, and we will discover that the great value of Armani is that these garments are evergreen. That is to say, he on purpose is mixing pieces designed in the 80s with pieces designed in 2021, and you can't in a way perceive the difference, because that is a very easy way to make you understand that Armani is evergreen. You will also understand that is also selling sweets and kind of cream, chocolate cream with nuts, something similar to Nutella. But you could wonder, is he producing them, or is he taking care of other companies producing that? You will discover while being in Milan, that is a key point of our master. I always say to my students, it's so important to attend lessons, but it's also important to enjoy the city and understand that Milan, it's for sure the world capital of design and one of the three most important cities because of fashion, together with Paris for high fashion and New York for sportive wear. But the great discovery of Italian fashion and Milan Fashion Weeks is prêt-à-porter, the French word which means ready to wear, and you will discover which are the ways Italian fashion and luxury brands are moving towards. You will discover that they are enlarging the brand, like, for example, Armani is also selling, in a way, flowers, and he is, in a way, dividing the production according to different brands. And in our master, there is a specific focus on retail that, of course, it's a key point to promote and communicate the products. Here you see an image of Armani First Line, a boutique in St. Petersburg, while you see the image is totally different when they are showing products for Emporio, which is targeted for a different market, younger one, not so expensive, and so that it's very important to be aware of that. But for example, Armani, like Bulgari, as you know, it's also hotel, and special hotels. Here is the image of his hotel in Milan, where there is no reception, that is to say, no check-in desk, but there is just a groom waiting for the guest, and he will, in a way, try to satisfy all your needs and will take you upstairs to the real check-in, to your room, and so on. And Giorgio Armani is designing hotels in many other places in the world. For example, one of my former students, she's working just with Giorgio Armani, and she's spending half a month in New York and half a month in Milan, because in New York, Armani is now designing a new airline, which means the interiors of the airline, the seats, and the uniform of all the staff, but also choosing the tablecloths, the tableware, all what is needed to offer the dinner or the lunch to the different clients in the different classes of the planes, And that's why he's designing hotels in Dubai and many other brands. Bulgari has got residential resorts in Bali. We could speak about Missoni, who is very well known in the States, and that's why he designed hotel in Edinburgh, but as well in Kuwait City, with the specific figure of the brand. And here you see the Armani Spa, and this is an interesting focus because in our master, which is focused on luxury, there is a specific area taking care of the area of hospitality, because this is a key point of wellness. And once you know the wellness manager, which is one of the professions that you could start working in after the master, was just taking care of the spa, the choice of cosmetics, the choice of towels and all these kind of things. But more and more, the wellness manager is also taking care of how you sleep. That is to say, the choice of the mattress, the choice of the different kind of pillows that you can use. That is to say, pillows with grass, pillows with different kind of seeds, or pillows with feathers, or so on. Moreover, we will discuss about the holistic approach to any kind of a product nowadays. That means to take care not only of the view, But the first sense which is affected when we enter a showroom, a shop, or wherever, any kind of space, is our nose. The smell is getting more and more important. And that's the reason why Italian companies can still compete with the production. You should say Chinese production is much cheaper. Of course, it's much cheaper, but also China nowadays is starting to produce abroad where the cost of labor is even cheaper than there. They have companies producing, Chinese company producing in Vietnam, Bangladesh, and Papua New Guinea, where the cost of labor is much, much cheaper. We will discover what about Italian companies. About the cost of labor, it will be very interesting to compare the cost of 1 hour of a worker in Italy, which is around 31 euro, compare to the same cost of 1 hour in China, which is around $7. And you will discover that in Ethiopia, the cost of labor is 30 euro per month. But why Italian companies don't go to produce there? Because quality, So 100% produced in Italy, and maybe you will discover that most of the French famous luxury brands are producing in Italy. They are branded, and you will also discover the weak points of Italian companies. That is to say, the fact that they are family business. That means after 1 or 2 generations, not always the family are so clever to hire good managers like you will be to run the company, but they want to be involved. But maybe they are not so much focused on the business, and so the company is not doing so well. Moreover, to go international, you need a lot of funds, and that's the strong points of the luxury French groups, which have a lot of resources to open different shops in different continents, and in a way, this kind of connection between the Italian production and the French strategic attitude and the financial support is a winning point nowadays. But you will discover that, for example, some kind of companies like Calzedonia, Intimissimi, that all of you know because you see their shops all over Europe, these companies which are not focusing on the Italian production, but they are just focusing on the price, on a nice color, they are producing what we could call mass underwear. And these are the companies, the first one who started producing in Addis Ababa, the capital of Ethiopia. And because of that, the war, which lasted 25 years between Eritrea and Ethiopia, just stopped, because of course you can produce in Ethiopia, but how can you deliver this kind of goods to the rest of the world, to Italy and the rest of Europe? You need a harbor, but Ethiopia has no harbor. And so Chinese companies have restored the first railway, which was connecting Addis Ababa to Massawa on the Red Sea during the Italian colonial period in the 30s, which has been destroyed during these 25 years of war. And so now the goods, the war stopped, can go to the harbor, be shipped quickly to Europe, Going back to Armani, you see that Armani is developing also carpets, and you will see through this analysis of the brands also which are the new trends. For example, face plain, it's a big trend for many companies producing that. And then you will take place because if we start at the end of 2020, you will have lucky to, in a way, be in Milan during the next special design week, which will be a kind of anniversary for the Salone del Mobile, which is the biggest fair of furniture. But besides the big fair, which is something unique, but for sure we will visit together to see the new kind of production, like here in this image, you see Armani and his Armani Casa, his shop with the furniture he designed, and this is the shop in Los Angeles, you know. You will have the opportunity to take part to all the events which happen in Milan in that special week. Impossible to take part to all of them because there are around 1,000 in 5 days. So you will have to select, but we will go together to some of them, and you will be shown how to know where to go. That is a very special period for young people like you, because it's a way to take part to the opening, to also save money, because in Italy it's common when you have an opening to offer food, drinks, and so on, you know. And for example, that's the only opportunity we have to visit the Armani Theater, which has been designed by Giorgio Armani himself, together with Tadao Ando, you know, that is just opened for the catwalks, and which for the problem of copy, you know, they are quite closed and it's not so easy to take part to this event. But during the design week in the same theater, you will also see, it's in a way on show, the furniture that Armani has designed. And together we will go to the Armani silos. This was I was telling you that here in this image you have garments designed in 1980 and garments designed in 2021, and Mr. Armani himself is mixing them and choosing how to show. For example, in maybe in this moment you are not aware that these are very special mannequin, because you don't see the hands, you don't see the face, and so on. They have been designed by Bob Wilson for a special exhibition that Giorgio Armani had in the Triennial. You will also discover when you are in Milan what is Triennial, which is the oldest world exhibition linked to the World Expo, you know, dealing just with architecture, fashion, photography, and design, you know. And you will have the opportunity, and you will give it also as a task to go there and follow the different kind of exhibitions that during the year, because of course every 3 years there is this international expo. The title of it is decided in Paris by le Bureau International des Expositions, the same institution which is just planning the different expo, like in this moment Expo Dubai, in 2015 Expo Milan, a few years before Expo Shanghai, and so on, you know. And of course, we will understand together which is the difference between a traditional museum like the Victoria and Albert or the MoMA or in New York, and the Triennial, which is hosting a exhibition, a world exhibition every 3 years, but then is delivering many different exhibitions on design during the 3 years between each of these events. And since many of usually of our students are coming also from interiors, it will be very interesting to see a building like these Armani Silos or Fondazione Prada, which were former industrial buildings which had been reused in something different. This was a granary. It belonged to Nestlé, the Swiss company, and used to be a granary to store coffee, you know. And I remember a few years ago, it was very much smelling of the area of coffee because of Nestlé production, but then they moved away outside the city, and Armani decided to reuse the building, but keeping this industrial touch. So this idea of, in a way, having a special taste for industrial building, it's something that you will discover that in Italy, but also in other cities in the world, is pretty strong. You will discover how many industrial areas in Milan have been transformed into residential areas, because the people of your age or a bit older, if they can afford, they like to live not in normal flats with rooms, corridors, entrance, these kind of spaces, you know, but in open spaces. And loft is a kind of needs and
We can't hear, sorry, we can't hear anymore. The mic maybe is off.
Yes. Let me just write maybe to Professor.
I don't know why.
Perfect.
Okay.
Now it's good. Now it's good. Thanks.
I hope I was saying that now we go to see in a way which are the kind of disciplines that we will place in our premium design courses, you know.
We are seeing probably an old file. If you allow me to, I would share my screen and show the newest one.
Very good.
So I am sharing the new file. Excuse me for the interruption. A few seconds and I'm loading it. So I should now be able to, yes. So there we go. Okay, so let me just enlarge it. Okay, so I think you now see the full screen. So this is, of course, the updated file. Thank you. Of course, the area is the area of business design, as Professor Dell'Acqua has already highlighted. And here you have the few, let's say, facts about the course. Professor Dell'Acqua, do you prefer me to go on?
No, you can go.
Okay, so I can synthesize. I will try to be quite quick. You already, of course, attended to the introduction, the general introduction by Professor Dell'Acqua. So, as I was saying, this is, of course, involving and entailing management, because there will be focus on management, because the goals of the specializing master, as you can read here, is to train key figures that are supposed to become finally able to mediate instances of both management and corporate marketing with the needs of products. So design together with management and marketing, in order, of course, to finalize a high quality kind of production. The professional outcomes are, of course, the employment opportunities in many of the sectors related to luxury and premium design, which we generally define as accessible luxury. And therefore, there are, of course, also prospects in the areas of design and strategic marketing. The structure of the course is including both theoretical and practical activities. Practical activities, as Professor Dell'Acqua has already highlighted, will entail both field trips. So we will actually go boots on the ground to see things, to see happenings around the city of Milano. And of course, workshops in which you will ask to deliver a short assignment and short products. Part of the lectures will actually be organized in cooperation with the Sole 24 Ore Business School. So, as specifically referring to the part dedicated, of course, to management, they will have a focus together with us.
Lorenzo, I think you must say to the foreigner students that Sole 24 Ore is like the most important economical newspaper in Italy. It's like, I don't know, the Times or, you know, the international economic newspaper.
Yes, I forgot to mention. Yes, this is absolutely true. So this is the most important economic newspaper and magazine in Italy, and they of course have a business school. So they will cooperate together with POLI.design for the courses dedicated to management and marketing. And the teachings will be conducted in a blended modality. Of course, we have had 2 years of hard and intensive training for this blended modality. And so we are now perfectly aware of, let's say, the latest solution. And so you will still be able, even in case you had problems or you could not come, to attend to the lecture, so you won't lose any minute of lectures. Of course, we do hope that we will all be together present in classroom to do all the activities there. But in case there was any problem, don't worry, because you will still be allowed both to attend live online and to see the recordings, because the recordings will also be available. The starting date of the teaching activities is toward the end of November 2021, and the total amount of hours are 440 hours of teaching activities that are including the aforementioned, so both the theoretical parts and the workshops. Of course, this is not the only activity and the only teaching part included, because we consider a relevant part of your teaching path also the 350 hours of curricular internship that will happen between the months of July 2022 and December 2022. Of course, this is, of course, a period in which that will happen, so to allow you to either, for instance, agree upon a part-time or upon a full-time internship, according also to the need of the companies and your own need. I won't spend many other words about the sector, but anyway, I think that the previous introduction already highlighted the relevance, the big relevance of this sector, which is not just meaning, as Professor Dell'Acqua highlighted, we just not mean only fashion, but also a series of related other areas, from cosmetics to products to interiors and so on. And also the biggest part of it, as I was trying to say previously, is that segment that we call affordable luxury, which is the biggest part of the market currently. Few things. I would leave now the floor to Elisa to highlight, of course, also the formal requirements and the admission requirements and all you need to know and do in order to enroll yourself to the master. Thank you.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Elisa Piccini and I'm from the Education Office of POLI.design. So here I would like to give you some details about the application process and the selection one. So mainly here you may find the link leading you to the application form on our website. And anyway, you can always find it on the web page of the specific web page of the master itself on our general site www.poli.design.net, and in particular you will find the apply button. By clicking on it, you will be led to a form that you will have to fill with your personal data, just like your name, surname and contacts, and you will be required to upload your application documents, and in particular your curriculum, a motivation letter in which you explain why you would like to take part in the master and why you are interested in the master, a portfolio of your projects, in particular, of course, if you have a background in design or architecture, and then you will be required as well to provide some official documents for the evaluation by the proper office of Politecnico di Milano that will analyze if the degree you got is recognized by the Ministry of Education in order to let you take part in the master. So we will need as well the scanning of your bachelor degree and the scanning of your university transcript. Mainly, after having submitted these documents, the selection will go through 2 different paths, and in particular, there will be a selection interview that will be fixed by Skype or through a platform platform with one of the members of the master board, and at the same time, as I was mentioning, your official degree will be evaluated by the proper office of Politecnico di Milano in order to check that the degree you got is recognized by the Italian Ministry of Education. And in particular, for this reason, you see that there are two different deadlines before which you need to submit the application. And in particular, it is September the 21st for candidates having achieved the degree abroad, and October the 21st for citizens, Italian and foreigners, having achieved a degree in Italy. These two deadlines are different mainly because, as we were mentioning, for candidates having a degree achieved abroad, some extra documents will be required for the enrollment in the master. So it might take a little bit longer to get them. That's why the deadlines are different. Of course, we generally suggest anyway to candidates to apply as soon as possible because of the limited amount of places available, but also because, of course, in case you would be considered eligible for the master, you might need to arrange the visa, moving to Italy, the accommodation, and so on. So, I mean, aspects that might be time consuming, so it is it is suggested to apply as soon as possible. Mainly, as I was saying, after having completed the evaluation of your profile, you will receive a feedback by email about your eligibility, and of course, in case the evaluation was positive, you will be provided the details to complete your enrollment in the master. Mainly, the cost of the specializing master is 10,500 euro. 500 euro is the enrollment and matriculation fee to Politecnico di Milano, whereas the 10,000 euro is the attendance fee for the master itself. Of course, you won't be required to pay the whole amount together, but in order to confirm your place in the class, you will be required to pay a part of this amount in order to fix your place in the class. So mainly these are more or less the details and the process from the selection and admission point of view. So
I see that there is already one question, which is, can you tell us more about the workshop? Yes, I can make a short synthesis. The workshops are three. One is dedicated to retail. Professor Dell'Acqua already a few words about this. One is dedicated to product, and another one is dedicated to communication. Professor Dell'Acqua and I are personally in charge of the workshop dedicated to retail, in which we generally provide our students with an assignment, with a brief, which is consistent in this case with the latest trend. For instance, this year we focused a lot on the pickup and return points areas inside department stores to boost the possibilities for department stores in order for them to increase, of course, their revenues during the COVID time. And so we also analyzed some possibilities, so alternative structure to respond to this very particular time. But in general, as far as the structure is regarded, and this is a common structure to all of the three workshop, you will always be provided with an assignment, so with the first brief. Most of the cases, this brief is brand related. In some cases, there are also some companies participating, as it happened during the workshop dedicated to communication, in which there was this year a real company actually cooperating, and at the end of the workshop, where you will deliver your own project. So yes, we do ask, of course, students to cooperate together and to form a team and to start proposing their own creative ideas at, of course, concept level. So no detail is actually required, but concept is required. And at the end, whenever there's a company participating, we also share the results so that the students can have a feedback not only from the professors in form of a mark, but also from the company in form of a real example of what will happen to them later on when starting the internship. So this is quite
And
quickly
of course, I can
what will
add,
happen during the
for
workshop.
example, in the workshop that Professor Morganti was talking about, you know, which is on retail, we will apply what you have been learning in digital marketing, because more and more you will understand how physical shops have to work together with online shops. And it's very important to find the new ways to attract the clients in the real shops, and then may work a lot in a strict connection with online shops, because as we know, after the experience of COVID, online shopping is growing for 2 numbers every year, you know, while many physical shops are suffering. So we must look for new strategies to make them work together. That will be the goal of our workshops, to apply what you have been learning in the theoretical parts of the masters.
Thank you. We actually still have time for one final question. So before, the Professor Morganti was talking about the teacher and the professors that are actually working in this project. Can I just ask if they are only from the academic world, for example, from the Polytechnic, or actually you have some sort of professional figures?
Well, I can say they are mostly professionals, you know, not so many from Polytechnico. We are a certain number of people from Polytechnico, but the great part are professionals, you know, which are working for luxury brands, you know, and they take to university their professional skills and their view on the real market, you know. Moreover, all the professors coming from Sole 24 Ore, they are enrolled with companies, and they are strictly linked to the association of companies in Italy, you know.
Perfect. This is actually great to hear. So actually students will have the opportunity to hear from real professionals in the field. I wanted to thank our professors for the presentation. I wanted to thank Elisa and all of you for staying connected and for your questions. We wanted to remind you that you will find more information on the website and also on the Digital Open Day website. And I'm just going to copy a link where you can find more information about the course, but also we will be posting soon over the next few days a recording of the presentation. So in case you missed the presentation, or you want to watch it again to see some particular aspect, you'll be able to do it. And you can also get in contact with the theme. So I really want to thank the Professor Dell'Acqua, the Professor Morganti, and Elisa for their time. And we look forward to seeing you soon at POLI.design then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you, and
Bye.
bye. Bye-bye.